If you have less than 500 in a polling unit, would you still
No,
break
some
it
polling
down?
units will be collapsed.
They will be collapsed.
To make up for those who had excess, yes.
In the process
Some
of
polling units will be collapsed.
Will it
to
not
make
create another confusion
Manipulation.
during this election?
If we go
when you
by,
now start collapsing again during the election and everybody is confused again, even the idea of migrating from one polling unit to another, to me, INEC should just keep its good name.
You see what they're saying, the collapsing, it happens. But these are what they ought to have done prior to this creation of polling units. That's why I said that building the house from the roof rather than from the foundation.
okay, Mr. Idowu, if we go by what Mr. Odidika and Mr. Ojewu say, they're saying here, let's say this is the voice of Nigerians. Would INEC want to drop this idea of creating more polling units?
Well, you see, I can't speak on the policy decision like that. What the policy? I can't sit here and say,
Would you want to take it back to the INEC chairman?
Honestly, even from what they have said, I don't get the point. I need to be educated. Honestly,
Okay, let me help you. Let me help you.
I just showed you the fallacy of an argument that somebody said that
Yes.
that the polling unit is going to something that has not been created. And you are saying that is already aimed at somebody.
It's not been created. When do you want to create it?
Let's look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. If you're making a policy, there must be more than one reason why you will create this policy. Let's assume one good reason that you felt you had to create it. You said for administrative ease for INEC. And Nigerians are throwing up all kind of things and saying, oh, it is a conspiracy theory in this, there is this problem, there is that problem. Can you name 2, 3, possibly 4, even 5 other reasons why you feel this is a compelling argument and it has to be done?
Thank you.
Now. Yes.
Thank you. Now, he's consistently used the word global best practice. I actually think he's used it in the wrong sense. The global best practice is what we wanted to do. That you do not have crowded. We've observed elections in many countries before, and we see what obtains there. It is, given the system that we operate, it is an anomaly to have such a huge, such a long queue of people standing. And global best practice is that you reduce every unit to a manageable size.
What is the manner? Sorry. Let him answer the question. Please permit him. Now, if you have to, I'm asking the 5 reasons or 3 reasons, even if it's just 2 additional to administrative ease, because that one is for INEC. For Nigerians, the benefit for Nigerians.
So that's one point. This global best practice.
Okay.
To have
global best practice.
Yes,
so
in
applying that to global best practice, in applying it, how does it apply? Are you saying that now we'll be having maximum 50 people in every polling unit, or 100, or what number?
No, we said 500.
So 500. How many did we have before? Was there any polling unit that had 1,000 or 2,000 in the past?
I just give you an example. In Ali Mosho here, we had 3,000.
3,000,
sure.
One polling unit.
In one polling unit, 3,000.
Okay. So now you're saying that number is reduced.
Yeah.
Are there polling units?
It's always been there.
How, when? So how come he didn't do this exercise prior to, you see, what I'm saying is the timing. That's why when he's saying international best practice, it means when this thing takes place. What you're saying is what ought to be. But why do you want to do it now? That there is so much confusion. You have 4 years.
Please, I'm not going against the creation of polling units.
He didn't do that.
It is important.
Sorry, he didn't do that prior to 2011. Let's leave over you are being hurried. Now, after the 2011 election, you went to sleep over this. Meanwhile, you knew that Ali Mosho had 3,000, for example, had 3,000 voters in one polling unit. Now, towards the end of this tenure, towards an election, you now wake up and say, we want to do it now.
Good question. You see, again, let me inform you that this is not an arbitrary decision. The way it started was we were going to do a delimitation of constituencies.
Correct.
That again is the global best practice. Because we have in this country, let's say a representative seat, a representative elected by 250 people. Okay, maybe, yes, maybe 2,000 people. And we have another representative elected by about 9,000 people. And yet, you want to tell me that if I happen to come from that, that constituency where 9,000 people elect representative, and you come from that constituency where even less than 2,000 represent, our votes, are they equally weighted? So global best practice is that you delineate in a way
Correct.
that there will be equal weighting of votes. Now, INEC started on that. The polling unit creation will be a matter of course in that process because it will be routinous. But we've gotten to a point that we've seen that the creation of the delineation of constituencies will not be concluded before 2015.
So the first thing, so the foundation was not done.
You know,
Now, it is
delineation.
hold on.
You also have
You
to
ask
do
for
word
a
reviews.
Let him finish.
Yeah, delineation,
No.
word reviews, all
No,
this should
before-
have
let him
done.
finish. Yes.
Now,
Please.
but we had put a process in place. We have GIS coordinates. We have been working with NASDRA. We have been working with the offices of Surveyor General. We now have maps on which we have been able to superimpose population contours to be able to see
Assumption.
how do you delineate this population. It is a part of the process of delimitation that we've been doing. All we have done now is, given that we cannot conclude that, let's just put this subset out. Put it in place for administrative ease for 2015, such that the process will be concluded, the process of delimitation will come to its logical conclusion.
Sorry,
So why don't you
gentlemen.
build a foundation after election? Why are you building
Sorry,
your
gentlemen.
your roof before
Now,
election?
somebody,
Foundation after election?
there's someone online who's asking this question, which I think is quite important. He's saying how many local government, or how many polling units rather, in Nigeria have 3,000 voters?
I've given one in Alimosho. We also have in
Apart from
Kano.
that,
We have in Kano.
another one?
Yes, we have in
Is
Kano.
it for the purpose of those two?
No,
that we
no.
now
I just gave
have-
that as an example of populated polling units as against other polling units where you have maybe 200.
Now, the question is,
150 people.
if for the sake of 2 or 3, we're now having 30,000 new polling units, it brings to question the decision that has been reached, and it will further fuel this impression that there is a conspiracy in the offing. But if you have a larger number, don't you think explaining with a larger number, maybe if we have like about 10,000 polling units with over 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people,
voters,
then you will say you have to break them down.
You
Can you
didn't
give
take
us
account
more
of-
examples?
You didn't take account of a certain point we have been making.
Which is?
That we are working with a population size.
But this population size
We
has
have a
been there from
population size
2011.
that we disaggregate into an average of 500. And we are saying if you disaggregate this population size into an average of 500 per polling unit, will give you X amount of polling units. Again, those polling units have not been created. We are just saying, given the voter population, the ideal number of polling units that we have, if you will have an average of 500 per polling unit, is this amount of voters?
Okay, how many?
Okay.
Sorry, gentlemen. In 2011, how many voters did we have on the register?
Yeah, we like I said, we had not done concluded a deduplication. We had 73.5.
Okay, sorry. We'll stop it
But,
there. No,
yeah.
let's stop it there. 73.5,
Million,
73 point something million.
Yeah.
Now, how many polling units did we have?
119,923.
So why do we need another 30 if
When
in
it's 70
2011?
million now.
Because
We are raising it
119,000.
to about 150,000 119,000 polling units.
So why do we need
necessary?
more?
Because 119,000, those 119,000 polling units in 2011 were disaggregated into voting points to be able to conduct those elections. Number one. Number two, we have been